Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. I've got Bob Nelson here from Metsa Machines, and I got some bad news, Bob.
Yeah?
I broke the machine.
How'd you do that?
So I showed Bob that same clip a couple days ago, and it was actually great timing because he was planning on coming over here anyway. I think you're going to visit Joe.
Yeah, I was driving through the area anyway, so I figured I'd stop here.
Yeah, so it was good timing that he's going to be able to be here to fix this. But from watching that footage, tell me, what did I do wrong?
Well, the 365 is very fast, and what happens is when as soon as you let go of the saw handle, you push up on it on a basic or a pro, the splitter starts. Well, what does that mean when the log gets bound up? As you saw in the video, your log wouldn't drop into the split chamber, it dropped just a couple inches.
Yep.
And that was just enough for the pusher to grab it. So as you lift it up on the saw handle, the splitter engaged, and the rest is history.
It was tension between the log stop and the saw. Yeah. And so I was trying to lift the saw to release the tension to get it to drop. Yeah. And when I lifted the saw, it sent the splitter. Yep. And it was kind of like the perfect storm there.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have to be really quick to either open the hood or hit the stop lever, or we can do another thing where we can disable the auto split, so we can...
And that's one thing that I've found about this machine that I think I'm going to like a lot better is I would rather cut and then tell the machine when I want it to split rather than having it just auto split when you raise the saw handle. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today is we're going to fix what I broke, and then we're going to try to fix the machine, or at least set it how I like to run it so that it doesn't happen again. So we'll get to it.
All right. Okay, so one of the nice features about a 365 or a 315 even for that matter is that it has a positive stop. Of course, you can see the disadvantage to having a positive stop is that in the case where that log didn't fall, there's a chance that it could hit the stop and push on things, okay? So a failure point then would be this log stopper arm has a shear point in it, and that broke. So that broke, and then I think you had a nice neighbor that fixed that up for you.
Yeah, so when it broke, I obviously called neighbor Doug because he's my emergency fabricator, and I said, "Hey Doug, what are you doing?" And you know, he was swimming in the pool, and he cut this back down, squared it back up, and re-tack welded it back together for me in his bathing suit. So, and
it's pretty square. It looks good.
Yeah, so, he does great work.
So we don't have to do anything with that. But now you lost that snap ring here. There's a 20mm snap ring that holds this whole apparatus on, and then one of the ball joints that goes from the saw shaft to the, I guess you'd call it the eccentric here, that actually allows this to cam. One of those broke. So we brought new ball joints, and we brought the new snap ring, and we brought the new eccentric piece. The nice thing is a lot of the stuff is real easy to change if someone does need to change it on themselves. And I would say this does happen from time to time on the 365s when we ship them out. We try to tell everybody to be extremely, I don't know, vigilant of hitting the stop lever or opening the hood if something goes wrong, but mistakes happen, accidents happen, and we've always covered it the first time it happens. So, you know, this is a warranty item in the first instance. So.
Now, explain how this whole cam mechanism here works, because I didn't understand this when I first started running the machine. I thought, sure, you know, you naturally have a pinch point there with that positive stop, but it actually is designed to release that pinch point with that cam lever.
Yeah, so as the saw comes down, it cams this over, so the whole shaft moves out of the way, so you're relieving your pressure from the log stop to the end of that log.
Now that happens when you bring the saw down, right?
Correct. Yep.
So as you're bringing the saw down, that actually pushes back and moves out of the way, so yep, it should just drop down as long as everything's working properly.
Exactly. And of course, when you get into like this one here, you know, I would probably cut off this first, make a straight cookie here. Yep. You know, and toss that out of the way, and then you got a nice flat log up against that log stop. You know, knotty crooked wood, it's all going to be give or take, you know. Right. And then you've got the adjustable height on this one too. All of the 365 plus models have the adjustable stop here, so we can loosen these up and we can slide the stop up higher, okay, so that your logs won't have the tendency to catch down here as much.
Right.
And then if you're going to go back to small stuff, then you slide it all the way down, because sometimes the small stuff will go under the stop.
Right.
And I think in your case, running it with the auto stop disabled, I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I think because you've got good sized logs here, it's annoying to have the auto stop not running when you're doing stuff that's this big diameter.
Yeah.
Then you would miss it, you know?
Then you can just fly right through it.
Exactly. So maybe when you get to a pile of that again, you can put the nut back on and get the auto split going again. But for now, we'll make that change too.
Perfect.
So here's the new eccentric piece, and you probably could bend this back. And like you know, we could say like, oh yeah, this shouldn't break and whatever. But like I said, it's having this mechanical positive log stop instead of a chain or a rubber plow antenna that hangs here, and you're never getting the same lengths.
Yeah, you're always shooting
you're guessing it
too far, and then you got to bring it back. And
so yeah, I mean it's a give and take. So with this mechanical setup like this, it's just you got to be ready to stop it as soon as it starts to go haywire. So here's the eccentric. We're gonna put back on the post here, and then here's the ball joint that connects to the saw shaft. So now when we pull the handle down, when this axle moves, that causes the shaft to move. But yeah, I'll get this tightened up here now, and then we will put the arm back on, and then I'll adjust this. I'll fine tune this to make sure that it's not, when the saw is coming down all the way, we want to make sure that this is not hitting over here, which I think right now we're in a good position on it. So this back on here. We can grease this fitting once we're done here.
yeah, I've got a grease gun up at the house.
And we'll put the chain back up. And then we've got the big snap ring. Which first try. First try.
There we go.
Then we got the small snap ring. The washer first. The small snap ring. And I should be able to use the... Oh! That is not the one I needed, so that's okay. The one I needed is right here. Otherwise, that is not good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anytime you're working on this, you gotta be very careful not to drop things, because otherwise...
Especially when, yeah.
It drops down into a pile of sawdust. But it's always good to have a really strong magnet nearby for that occasion.
Okay, so we just greased this up to make sure that this is going to be nice and movable in here. And we slid that onto our ball joints here. And then we've got our flat washer, retaining washer here. And then we've got the snap ring that I need to make sure to not drop.
I was gonna say, did you only bring one?
Just watch if it goes flying, okay? Yeah. Yes, I only brought one, and it's okay because I clipped it on. We're good. All right. So now we can let's just see what the cam action looks like.
Yep.
Now.
Here, I'll stand back here so we can see how that works.
We'll make sure that we're... Oh yeah, that's good.
So yeah, you can see, do it again. That comes back just maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
To relieve that pressure on that log when it comes in there, so that the saw will cut it and the log will drop.
Yep. Let's go to... You cut at 16 inch?
Yep.
Okay, so put this here. And we'll go... I feel like it's probably there, but... Leave that there. Now this, I'm gonna... You don't mind if I adjust this, do you?
Nope.
Because now if we pivot that up out of the way...
Oh yeah.
Now there's less likelihood of stuff hitting it too.
So one of the other gripes that I have about these Japa machines is the chain tensioner. So on a regular chainsaw, you've got it mounted on the same side as your bar nuts, and it's usually a flathead screwdriver. And it's, you know, sometimes it might get caked with some stuff, but it's pretty easy to clean out. On the Japa, the chain tensioner is on this side, and it's a 4mm Allen key, and it gets plugged over. I remember the first time I went to go try to change it, I couldn't find where the tensioner was because there was so much stuff over top of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you always got to get some kind of pick or something and dig it out and then be able to get your Allen key in there. And the one thing that I have found that makes it easier is...
Oh, you're gonna
instead of using a regular Allen key like this, is get a little 4mm Allen key socket, and that makes it a lot easier to tension the chain. So that way you're not doing, you know, a quarter turn at a time.
Right. Yeah, and it is important to clean that hex head out, because otherwise if you just try to jam it in further each time, it's just going to cause damage to that hex head and make it harder to use each time. So
right.
Just like a normal chainsaw, you know, you'll have a little bit of snap back there and you're set to go. We'll tighten the 13 mils back up. It's important to note that the 13 mils need to be loosened over here before you try to tension it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've only had that one happen once where the tensioner got broke, but
yeah, I mean everything else about it is exactly the same as a regular chainsaw, except for the tensioner's on the opposite side and it's a hex head instead of a flat head.
Right. All right, so we're going to go onto the hood of this thing, and to do that, we got the infeed in the transport position basically. Then we're going to take out this 17 mil and this one here, and once those are out, set them somewhere where you won't lose them. And then there's a kind of like a catch here, and it actually looks like a little valve, but this is like a prop rod. So it's spring loaded. That's in the it's not usable right there. We put it here. Now it'll spring into the machine. So then you can kind of push back on the infeed and push up here at the same time. And it is heavy. And then you'll hear it pop. See, this latch just went in.
Yep.
So now it's held up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Then you've got your hydraulic oil filter here, and you've got your hydraulic oil fill here, and then the inner workings of the machine. Every so often you should clean out, you know, in here, but the way that this splitting chamber is designed and the grooves in the frame, it does stay pretty clean.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've probably put about 3 cords of wood through it so far, and
nice.
There's really not much in here.
Cool. So we're going to disconnect. This is the linkage that connects from the saw bar arm to the splitting system. And we're going to disconnect that, and then we're going to make some firewood.
Heck yeah. All right, so I saved the log that broke the machine, and I figure what better way to put it out of its misery than with the new 8-way knife that Bob brought here. So we're gonna go ahead and fire it up, start with that, and then we're gonna go ahead and make some firewood.
did you like it without the auto split function?
For whatever reason, that's my cup of tea. I liked running it. I like having the control. I know I asked you earlier,
yeah.
Do you find that most people like running it with the auto or the manual?
Yeah.
And you said most people like running it with the auto, right?
Yeah, most people like the auto split, but it is nice. One thing with the 365 is, like I was saying before, on a basic or a pro, you really got to watch the split chamber and hold the saw down, and then be ready in an instant for something to go wrong. Because if it does, I mean, you got to open the hood quick or hit the stop lever. And in this case, if you're going to do stuff that has some more knots in it or some crooks in it and stuff like that, or even if you just want to be a little more relaxed, I hate to say it like that, but it is sort of more relaxed. You can drop it in there and then, okay, yep, now we can split it. And I don't think you didn't lose much time. I mean, you can time what you did for those logs.
Yeah, that one log you said was like 1 minute and 40 seconds or something.
Yeah, I don't know how long it was to start. Maybe it was 8-10 feet, but
yeah.
You made short work of it, so.
Yeah, for me, I just like having the control, because when you've got things set up to be that fast, there's very little room for error to have something go sideways on you. And firewood is, you can't standardize it. It's not perfect, right?
Yep.
So you got to kind of factor that in.
Yeah, with the world of wood, things go wrong. That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this one, give me a big thumbs up. Go check out Bob's YouTube channel, Metsa Machines.
Thank you.
And he's got a ton of other of these Japa machines here. So we've showed the 315, now we have the 365, but how many other machines do you have that you've tested on your channel?
Yeah, we've done the 365. You've got the basic now. There's a version of the Pro. There's actually a few different versions of the Pro, PTO powered, gas engine powered, electric powered. And then we've got 395, 405, and then the flagship is the 435. But we got other products too, and we're trying to do at least a video a week now on the Metsa Machines YouTube channel, and I've asked for suggestions there too. If people see a video and they want to see something different run through the machine or a different way of running it, let us know.
Yeah, so yeah, go check out Bob's channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. You have snap-on socks.
Don't put that in the video.
Did you get those off the tow truck?
Hey, if I must say though, they last for years. No, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. I was like, people were like, "Oh, snap-on sock." I'm like, I'm not one to buy into that like gimmick stuff where it's like, you know, oh, just because it's got the name on it. But I tell you what, these socks last years. They do, they do, and they're not that much more expensive. I can't remember if they were like $4 a pair or something like that. So it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But they really do last a long time and they're comfortable.
I might have to put that at the end of the video in like the blooper section.
That's fine, yeah. I just had a little commercial there for them. Okay.